talk flags.
New Zealand is considering changing its flag. There's a short list of 40 flags, and then whatever the winner of that is going to go against the current New Zealand flag.
Head to head in like the Super Bowl of flags.
Yes, it is the Super Bowl of flags. What do you think? What are you thinking? What are your first thoughts looking at this?
Well, my overarching comment looking at them all as a group is well done. Whether you like them or not, or you think they're appropriate or not for New Zealand, most of them, I think, are quite good, solid flags. Eye-catching, nice. What's your overall impression of this collection?
Yeah, I have to say, well-designed flags. These 40 flags, many of them are incorporating the same design elements within them. So there is, of course, the fern, which is used on many of these flags. There's also a symbol which I was unfamiliar with, the koru. It's another symbolic representation of a fern.
It also really brings up a lot of thoughts of waves, doesn't it? It looks very wave-like a lot, and obviously New Zealanders are a sea-loving people.
I was unaware of this symbol, but I really quite like it. If there is any alternate symbol that is going to be used, I'm quite a fan of this koru symbol. I think it looks good, and I think there are a bunch of good designs that are incorporating it. I'm not maybe it's just me. Many of the flags also have the stars. I'm not a huge fan of the stars. I think stars are overused in flags.
I would make an exception for the Southern Cross, though, Gray, because I think the reason the Southern Cross is a bit different is it actually uses the constellation. It gives you a sense of place, the Southern Hemisphere.
I will grant you that it is an exception and that it is the best use of stars, but I would still put no stars for my New Zealand flag. I think New Zealand has a bunch of good choices here. I'm not sure it's my favorite, but I do like the black and white koru design on one of the flags. I think that's very nice. But there's an alternate color and slightly different ratio, it looks like, which is the koru with almost a two-tone green color on it. I like that one.
I think the colors are all wrong there.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the best for New Zealand, but I like the way it looks. And I'm trying to look at the ones without stars. Although I have to admit, I do kind of like this gray one that is the Southern Cross Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Which just has the line through it and the stars. Even though I said before, no stars, of all of them, I think that one actually does look the best. So do you have anyone that calls out to you?
I think they have to go with the silver fern. I think if they go with something else, they're overthinking it. Just do what you know is right, and I think that's the right thing to do. And those other points we raised, I think, are minor. I think that's the right decision. I think using the koru, this kind of wave curved thing, would be a mistake. I think it's a bit... I do like how it looks, but I think it's a bit new age and a bit trendy and a bit fashionable, and I think it will go out of fashion. It looks like something that's designed by, a water company or something, and I think it looks a bit like a corporate design more than a flag. I mean, that said, the fern obviously is a very unconventional flag too, but that's an exception. But I pretty much agree with what you said. I do think the Southern Cross Horizon one is a nice looking flag. I think quite a few. I think the 7 stars one is nice looking. I still think what I thought before, they should go with the silver fern.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that 7 stars one. I don't like that one at all.
Yeah, okay.
That one's not great.
Yeah, cool.
One of the flags is called Blackjack. I love that little modification of the Union Jack. I would never pick that as the New Zealand flag, but I think that is an interesting little design element that somebody came up with that I think looks quite good.
It's a cool thing, but I think it shouldn't be on the list. We shall wait with bated breath to see what the people of New Zealand do.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes. So we will have to follow it up with this podcast that breaks flag news.
So they have narrowed it down to 4, amongst which they must choose one to go head-to-head with the current flag at some stage.
If we look at the 4, there is the koru design. I know I mentioned last time, which is the black and white spiral design.
Yeah.
There is one flag that is a fern going across the diagonal. And then they chose 2 designs that are exactly the same except for a palette swap. But they are essentially the same flag. But this means that of the 4 designs, 2 are functionally identical and 3 are very, very similar. I have to say, we were discussing last time that New Zealand had just an overabundance of excellent flags to choose from.
Yeah.
And this narrowing down to 4 is terrible. If I have to put money on the table, I might actually predict that New Zealand doesn't end up changing their flag.
Another interesting thing that's come up, I'm sure there are other things you want to talk about, Gray, is there's been this kind of late contender for a new flag to be thrown into the mix. This fifth option. What do you think of that flag?
Yeah, I'm looking at this. So the thing that has happened is there's been a bit of an internet campaign for this flag called the Red Peak. And I have looked at this Red Peak design and I have thought, sold. I am 100% sold on this. I think it looks good. I think it's a strong option. And this to me is exactly the kind of different sort of design that should have been in the Final Four. It's very different, something that is unrelated to traditional images in the way that we think of it.
My problem with the Red Peak is that it doesn't look like a national flag to me. It looks like a semaphore signaling flag, or it looks like something that you should be using to communicate to another ship to keep to the left.
I can see where you would see that comparison, but I like it. I think it's a good design. Yeah, say Koru number 1, Red Peak number 2. I would do just the black and white silver fern as number 3. The black and blue silver fern with the Southern Cross next. And at the bottom of my list, the red, white, and blue silver fern with the stars. What's your order here, Brady? Because on my list, implicitly, the current New Zealand flag is at the bottom. So how would you arrange things, including the current New Zealand flag?
I would take the black and white fern because it's the closest to what they should be doing.
Right.
The current New Zealand flag is my number 2. Red Peak is my number 3. Black and blue fern, Koru, red and blue fern.
Yeah, that red and blue fern is just awful.
Which, of course, is a moot point because you don't get to vote at all. But
yeah, of course, no. I don't get to vote at all. Good luck, New Zealand. Good luck.
Yeah.